but it wasn't just the cast. It was really a well-developed plot and script. I really think since it was based on a true story, that helped them a lot.
Yeah.
But eventually, it has to. It's the story itself that it basically wrote itself. I guess because everything happened at a certain time. Maybe they might have heightened some parts for drama's sake, but man, great film.
Yeah, I do think they kind of probably took a little bit of a creative license in the end part just to like really hype up the tension,
The airport scene and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean nothing beyond that, belief.
Yeah.
Right. So they did that there. Ben Affleck for me though, as the main star, Mendes, he was okay for me. He was I just found him a bit flat though. It was he barely cracked a smile.
I think that might have been.
I mean, I think that's what they was trying to go
I think
for.
that was what he was going
but
for.
It just it didn't show any much range.
I think he tried to make it like, this guy, this is what he does for a living.
Yeah,
he doesn't put too much hype into it. He just gets stuff done. He's not this super action star.
Okay.
He's not this. He's not like a Bruce Willis, John McClane type who's just gonna shoot everybody and get hostages out.
Right.
So
I guess maybe if he was trying to show himself as a character that not that charismatic a character, maybe it's trying to make it more realistic in that sense. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. But syempre, in this type of movie, you do expect a character that's a little more flamboyant. But of course, people like Alan Arkin, John Goodman,
they more than made up for
it. More than made up for it. So yeah, it was a decent movie for me. I just can't say whether it has that replayability factor for me. It's parang type of movie. Okay, cool.
Yeah. But I'm thinking what it would be like if I watched it on an afternoon or not so sleepy. Maybe if it would still be as tense for me.
Yeah.
And if I wouldn't be sleepy in the middle of it. I'm hoping.
Yeah, because that middle part was kind of slow.
Yeah.
It was a bit slow. I mean, surprisingly, considering that when he enters Iran, I think that's where it kind of just slowed down a bit.
Yeah, and that's where the tension.
That's what you're expecting to
Yeah, I know. I think it was getting caught up in the six hostages trying to absorb those characters that they're supposed to play. That's when things got slow for me. And I was falling asleep a bit.
Right. Because everything was from before that was exciting. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The setting up, the cover, how
the cover story. Yeah. That's right.
Then it just slows down.
So I'm happy that it wasn't just me. Apparently, JD felt it too.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
But but it got the momentum again when they were finally the climax.
Yeah.
It was getting there.
Yeah.
So that made up for it. But like I said, it's the type of movie where, I get but since I've already seen it, the level of surprise
probably gonna go down.
It's gonna go down significantly. Maybe it's not really apples to apples, but Looper for me has more replayability factor for me. It's the type I can watch it and I'm there are gonna be things I know that I probably missed the first time out. This one is okay, I get it. Entertaining for what it is.
Right. Yeah. Well, so as far as grading goes, this is tough because of that. I always have an issue with movies that are badly paced.
Right.
There is a part in the middle where it gets slow, but for me, the start and the end are great. So, given those, I'll probably give this a very tough B+.
Wow.
It almost slips into B range, but the ending, that montage at the end, with the secret police getting to the Canadian embassy and running and all of that stuff. That payoff for me gave it that B+.
And don't forget all the nods to old school sci-fi movies Battlestar Galactica, Star Trek.
All of those.
It's even Buck Rogers. It's all there, and it's cute because in the end you see all the Star Wars, old school '70s Star Wars action figures. Of course, you and I, we grew up on that stuff.
Yeah.
So it was awesome to see.
Right.
So that made it fun there.
Yep.
So for me, I'll probably have to give this a B. For me, it's a B.
Right.
Entertaining for what it was, but not up to the hype that all the critics are going for. All the critics are raving on. It's like they're saying
it might have helped that I wasn't reading anything too much about it. I knew this was based on a true story. I was interested because of the trailer, and I was excited for it. So when I watched it, I was like, oh, so that's what happened. And placing it in its proper historical context, seeing guys like Ted Koppel and Walter Cronkite, and all of those guys, Tom Brokaw back then, because both of us, we barely remember that time and what was happening then
exactly
in the US, because this was pre-internet, pre-social media, all of that, pre-cell phones. That's why all of that tension was wrapped up in.
Yeah, you could imagine, imagine having that kind of situation now.
Yeah, it can't happen. Everything's moving fast.
All those guys have been recognized on Facebook.
Yeah.
The Iranian National Guard would have done some kind of Facebook. They were that smart.
Yeah.
The way they were, even in the movie.
Yeah. So I think that added to it, because I really do like movies that are based on real events.
Right.
And this captured that tension for me. So B plus.
Yeah. Also that, and it kind of. I think what Affleck was gunning for was harking back to those old school '70s movies. Or more on. It felt more like docudramas.
Yeah, like all the President's Men, that kind of thing.
Right. I think that's what he was gunning for here, and I think he, to a certain extent, he succeeded.
Yep.
So I mean, this is a movie. I wouldn't say it's up to the hype, but I still think it's worth watching when you find the time. So hopefully our next movie will be Skyfall in 2 weeks' time. So watch out for that.